Imagine this. You're standing at a train station with your suitcase in your hand. You decided to leave everything familiar behind without knowing what awaits you. This was the reality for my grandparents in the 1960s when they moved to Germany from Turkey to become guest workers. My dad was just a little boy. They didn't speak the language, had no idea what awaited them, and had to adapt to a completely new culture. Well, they ended up in Bavaria. Why are you laughing now? The joke isn't there yet. So you can probably guess where my grandfather found work. In a brewery, of course. Here's a picture of that brewery. It was taken by my dad's elementary school teacher and shows him with my grandparents in front of it. Soon after, my grandmother started working in a factory on the production of printed circuit boards, the very core of almost every electronic device. Imagine this task. Staring at thousands of these tiny objects, searching for defects every single day. It's repetitive, it's tiring. A monotonous job she held about 30 years. Their journey was full of challenges. They didn't know how they would integrate and constantly face the uncertainty of whether leaving their homeland would truly offer them a better life. But they didn't let fear paralyze them. Instead, they used that uncertainty as a driving force. They learned the language, adapted to the culture, and worked hard to build a new life. Their courage to step into the unknown set the foundation for my opportunities I've had in my life. I'm pretty sure my life would have been entirely different without their determination. Let me ask you, have you ever wondered how one brave decision can change the lives of future generations? And today, we also face new and complex uncertainties in a world transformed by environmental challenges, climate shifts, and a wave of technological change. Above all, the rise of artificial intelligence. With AI rapidly transforming our world, many of us feel uncertain about what the future holds. But what actually is uncertainty, and why is it a central aspect of AI? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, uncertainty is defined as a situation in which something is not known or certain, or the feeling of not being sure what will happen in the future. And when it comes to AI, I think we all can relate to this feeling. It holds immense potential, yes, but its long-term impact remains unknown. Well, what actually is AI? What actually is artificial intelligence? Recently, it seems that everybody's talking about AI, and one might think that it's something completely new. But in fact, it's not. The term artificial intelligence was already used in the 1950s. Back then, AI relied on strict, rule-based systems to perform specific tasks, like solving equations or playing simple games. Think of Pac-Man or tic-tac-toe or Tetris. That was already AI. So what makes it so successful and powerful today? Two major breakthroughs changed everything: the amount of available data and advanced computing power. Today, we're constantly generating data. Think of social media, online transactions, and more. This data allows AI systems to learn and improve over time. That's what we call machine learning. At the same time, we now have incredibly powerful processors that are able to handle such amounts of data, like GPUs. And the result is what we call deep learning. Unlike rule-based AI, deep learning uses artificial neural networks that mimic the human brain. Think of it like a child learning to recognize animals. You show them many pictures, and over time they will learn to identify a cat or a dog. It's the same for a neural network. The more data it sees, the more patterns it will recognize to make distinctions. We always have an input. We provide the neural network. Inside, we have connected neurons, like the neurons in our brains, processing this input, and we receive an output. In this case, this output is a prediction based on probabilities. For instance, it might determine that there's an 80% chance it recognized a dog. So this is how it works. But here's the thing. What happens inside this neural network, meaning why and how it reached a specific outcome, we can't always explain. And that's why we call neural networks often a black box. So this is one of the reasons why uncertainty is fundamental in modern AI. And with growing amounts of data and increasing computing power, AI systems can take on increasingly complex tasks. Recognizing animals in photos is one thing, but enabling a car to drive itself is an entirely different challenge. When I started my research in 2017, AI models had millions of parameters. Today, they can have trillions, making it even harder to understand how they reach their decisions, and making this black box grow even larger. But it's not only the size of these models that creates uncertainty, it's also the data they learn from. When I asked ChatGPT to create an image of a CEO, this is what it generated. Think about that for a moment. What does this say about the data we're feeding these systems? Why are AI-generated images of CEOs usually white men? And guess what? A secretary would be a woman. The answer is bias in the training data. AI systems are trained on massive data sets that are far from neutral. They reflect our world with all its biases, gaps, and inequalities. And when the data is historically biased, AI will unintentionally keep or even amplify these biases, leading to unintended consequences. Let me share a personal example. As a lecturer, I receive many emails from students. And recently, I've noticed some emails in German, starting with the phrase, "Ich hoffe, diese Nachricht erreicht Sie gut," which directly translates to, "I hope this message finds you well." Yes, you write that in English, but any native German speaker should immediately notice that this phrase feels uncommon in German communication. So for me, it's a clear sign that the sender has used an AI like ChatGPT to write their message. And it also shows how uncritically we accept AI's output without questioning it. So as you can see, AI confronts us with various types of uncertainty, like its black box nature or bias in the training data. And it seems that it already started to influence society. And thinking about where this can lead in the future can be quite unsettling. But here's the question. Isn't life itself full of uncertainties? Even human decision-making isn't always logical or easy to understand. Just like this black box, none of us can see in someone else's mind, do we? So, without uncertainty, there can be no innovation. And the same goes for AI. It may be uncertain, but it also opens the door to incredible innovations. Take medical diagnosis. It can be a complex process where many factors need to be evaluated. And even the most skilled professionals can face challenges. And also misdiagnosis can happen. Have you ever left a doctor's office feeling terrified and scared, only to find out later that it was a misdiagnosis? I have. And that's why 2 studies, both from this year, really caught my attention. First one, Alzheimer's is a disease affecting 55 million people worldwide. Researchers at Cambridge University developed an AI tool that predicts Alzheimer's with 80% certainty when first symptoms appear. Another study from the UCLA shows that AI can predict the size of prostate cancer around 45 times more accurately than conventional methods. Do you know what that means? That means that AI can help to reduce misdiagnosis, it can provide clarity, and it gives millions a chance for the right treatment at the right time. Isn't that fascinating? And don't get me wrong, these advancements don't replace doctors. They give them powerful tools to do what they do best, saving lives. And did you know that just 2 months ago, AI was the focus of not 1, but 2 Nobel Prizes in physics and in chemistry. In chemistry for AlphaFold, a groundbreaking tool to predict protein structures. Why is that important? Because understanding proteins is like decoding the building blocks of life. It paves the way for life-saving treatments. But artificial intelligence isn't just transforming healthcare. It's almost everywhere. At the beginning, I told you about my grandma who spent long hours in manufacturing working on these printed circuit boards. Interestingly, purely by coincidence, I ended up doing my PhD in the very same field. I applied artificial intelligence to support the defect detection process of these circuit boards. This is where AI's true power lies. Not in replacing humans like my grandma, but in supporting them. By taking or handling repetitive work, AI creates room for more creative, more fulfilling, and more meaningful tasks. So with all that in mind, having AI's uncertainty on the one side and its huge potential on the other, what does this mean for us? How do we move forward in a world increasingly shaped by AI? In many countries, there are already legal frameworks, like for Europe, the European Union AI Act, aiming to ensure transparency, safety, and ethical use of AI. But legislation alone can never replace our own responsibility. We can't afford to switch off our brains when interacting with these systems. It's about active participation. So, first of all, be open-minded and curious. Sounds so mundane, yet it's not. AI can offer ideas and solutions we might not have considered on our own. Be open to them and let them inspire you to think out of the box. But at the same time, think critically. Don't just accept anything AI tells you, don't just believe it, but please use your human intelligence and critically question the outputs. You can also double-check. For instance, there's not only ChatGPT, there are other tools like Gemini too. And if you notice mistakes, make sure to correct them. Remember the AI-generated German emails. Small corrections can lead to better systems for everyone. And last but not least, stay informed and always keep learning. Fear often comes from the unknown. And the proper interaction with AI is something we all should learn. And learning the basics is easier than you might think. There are great online courses. Take this chance. Take your time to learn and understand the key against fear. And by taking these steps, we transform from passive consumers to active contributors. It's our decision how we deal with technology. Will we let uncertainty hold us back, or will we embrace it as a chance for innovation and growth? Just like my grandparents were brave enough to create a better future for my family and me, we together have the power to turn AI's uncertainty into opportunities. Let's embrace this journey together.